Welcome to Living with Moxie, where Shefali Burns and Donna Martuge, authors, entrepreneurs, and leaders in the world of business, education, and coaching, share ideas, resources, and strategies from the hosts and their guests to provide you with the leverage you require to meet and exceed your business and personal goals. Join us for unique insights from outstanding achievers in business, relationships, health, finances, and living as they share strategies, wisdom, and lessons learned on the path to extraordinary living. Are you ready to live with Moxie?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Living with Moxie. This is our online premiere launch of our show. I am Shefali Burns, and here with my co-host, Donna Martuge.
Hi, everybody.
So thank you, everyone, for being here. Like I said, today is our launch of our new show, Living with Moxie, and we're so excited to be sharing with you and having you here with us. So we thought we'd share with you what we're going to do for the next couple of weeks anyways, and at least for today. So we thought we would share what is Living with Moxie, what does that even mean, and what is this radio show going to be about? So to start off, I thought we'd talk about what is Living with Moxie and what is this show. So we are going to have conversations between each other and our guests as the weeks go by. And these conversations are designed to take your life to the next level. And this show will highlight ideas, resources, and strategies that will provide you with the leverage you require to meet and exceed your business and personal goals. So, some of these topics will be around success, relationships, business, spirituality, you name it, we'll see health and finances, right? And so what does Living with Moxie even mean, right? So let's ask Donna. What does Moxie mean to you, Donna?
So that's what I was just pulling up. Thank you for that. I apologize. So it was so funny when we were coming up with how we wanted to do this, because one of the things that started, Shefali and I have sat down literally, I think, since December, talking about what it is that we're looking to create for the future and what it is that we'd like to offer people that they're really basically giving us information about that they're truly not getting. And we get the sense that a lot of people are asking for more. And we do understand that. And very often, not even really necessarily clear what the more is, just that they're, whether it be business, relationship, health, wellness, it doesn't even matter what the topic is. There's one or more areas in someone's life that they're feeling just like they're not living an extraordinary life. So I'm going to go back to the definition of Moxie in a minute. But first, I want to talk about extraordinary, because it's a word that people use a lot, and it means something different to everybody. Truthfully, when you're listening to us, what I'd like you to think about is extraordinary living, meaning living life on your terms. So that means that you get to do what you want, when you want, how you want, with who you want, basically as much as you want, really. And that sort of defines just about living an extraordinary life for everybody. It's life on your terms. You get to define it, to describe it, to mold it, to shape it. And the funny thing about extraordinary living is once you get exactly to the place where you imagined yourself being, you get that that's not a place where you stop. Once you start to feel comfortable there, and you can reach for more. So it's an interesting thing about always reaching for more. Now, the idea of Living with Moxie was something we were talking about when we said we really want to give people the skills and tools that they need and the information that they need so that they can actually have the energy, the courage, and the determination to get to where they want to go. So that is the definition of Moxie. So when we were playing with the description of what it is, what our mission, if you want to use that word, would be to offer to the world, to contribute to the world, the literal words that we were using to describe what it is that we would really love to contribute is the definition of Moxie. So the definition of Moxie is the ability to be active, to be courageous or determination, energy, pep, and know-how. And that truly defines everything that we want to be able to offer. When I was working with people all over the world, I'd ask for feedback from coaching sessions and groups and classes that I would do. And very often they would say, we work with this person or this person, and it doesn't matter who it is, but very often they would feel that they would take a class or they would work with someone and they're still not being able to close the gap between where they are and where they want to be, not walking out with concrete information that they need to open a business, to become an expert in their field, to publish a book, to teach a class on a topic, to schedule a conference, all of those types of things where there's real clear skills and gaps of information that they might still be missing or that they may still be looking for, as well as some beliefs and information that would need to be shifted in order to help them get to where they want to go. So what we wound up creating was something much greater than what we had initially planned, and it turned into a radio show, but a radio show being Living with Moxie, and that's just part of an amazing company that we've been building for 7 months now, really, six or 7 months now, which becomes and is Moxie Media House. So that is what we're offering, which becomes a platform not only for those who would like to get the tools to learn more and to live with Moxie or add and Moxie into an area of their life where they feel like that gap currently exists, but also a venue for people who are looking for the classes, for the tools, for the information, because it becomes it is a publishing house. It is a place where there is courses that are being developed now in all of the topics we're going to be presenting. And every week over the next few months, you'll start to meet some of the greatest authors, teachers, and speakers in the fields of health, wellness, business, money, who will be guests on the show, coming to really give you tools and information that will help you expand your business, understanding marketing from the idea of someone who's just beginning a business versus someone who's already has a multi-million-dollar business, because no matter where you are in business, you'd like to know more. You'd like to really reach your audience. You'd like to expand your audience. So people who would like to write, people who already are authors, people who would love to understand the benefits between publishing through using an agent at a house or, self-publishing, every realm of that whole entire spectrum that I just mentioned, we're going to have experts here to discuss with us and help us get you the information that you truly require so that you can add what you need or choose what you need to help you begin to live your life with Moxie. And if you are doing it in one area, many people notice that if they're doing it in one area, they sort of start to fall off on another. So what would it take to carry it all the way through your business, your relationships, your love life, your family life, your whatever that looks like over every single area of your life? So I think that is the whole foundation of what it is that we would love to contribute to everybody. Did I miss anything, Shefali, there?
No, that was great. And I love that, Donna, because it's about expanding and expanding and expanding, so it's not the whole. I don't think there is such a thing as a whole. I think, this is a start or a beginning where we're starting, and we wanted to share this enthusiasm and this Moxie with all of you because you know what? When we first started talking, and even before that, it's like, well, there's so much more that I want. And, people have said to me in the past, why can't you just settle? Why can't you just be happy with what you have? And it's like, that's not me. There's more that I want to do, more that I want to experience, and more that I would like to express with, my community, with the world. So, so who are we? Who is Donna? Who is Shefali? So for some of you may not know who we even are. So I thought this would be a great time for us to tell you a little bit about who you are. So I will tell you who Donna is, and then Donna will tell you who I am. It would just be really weird if I said, who I was. So I will tell you who Donna is and introduce her to you, and she can do the same for me, right? So I've known Donna, oh my goodness now, for a few years, right? And
Yep.
she's worked with me, before on my telesummit. I have a telesummit. She's been my guest, and she's even guest hosted for me when just recently when I was not able to do my live show. And so we work really, really well together. And she's somebody that, when I was thinking about, I want to do something different. There's something I want to do. Who do I want to do it with? And Donna's name came to me just like that, right? So Donna is an educator, an international speaker, a teacher, a best-selling author who has touched thousands of lives with inspiration and dynamic tools to help create change. And for over 20 years, Donna has been inviting people to reach for more, recognize their potential, and exceed any goals they would like to meet. And she recognizes that many set their limits lower than what they are capable of creating. We all do that, right? Okay, not all. Some of us still do that. I still think I'm kind of still limiting myself in some ways. And so Donna is wonderful at helping me to see where I'm limiting myself and helping me to expand into even more. And so it's this awareness that drives her to teach and empower others. And she was formally trained in psychology, special education, behavior, leadership, and training in many other alternative healing and coaching modalities. And she has a completely different approach to facilitating people to acknowledge their abilities and strengths. And so she works in the field of special education administration and has worked in a variety of roles throughout her career, including teacher, school psychologist, and instructor at colleges and universities, including her alma mater, Fordham University in New York. Her awareness is creating a life you love is easier than many can imagine. And that's something that I love about Donna, is that she sees so much more potential. And she sees so many different possibilities, right? Where sometimes we really are limiting ourselves. So I love that about her. She sees so much more than sometimes I'm even able to see. And she can tap into that energy. And, that's why we're going as fast as we are going and as far as we're going with our vision for our business and our lives, right? So a world where people have the possibility of contributing by using their talents creates a world where there is more joy and sense of fulfillment. So whether you're a student, a parent, a teacher, or organization, the tools she offers, and once you apply them, they work, right? And so Donna has the gift for seeing where an individual, group, or system keeps themselves stuck, and she assists them in becoming aware of where that is and what's possible so they can choose differently. And she loves every minute of the life she creates and is grateful for every moment of it. And I'm just so blessed and grateful that we are doing this together so that we can share our gifts, our talents, our strengths with all of you.
Yeah, thank you for that. And I just want to say, I mean, working with Shefali is something that I remember when we first started working together, and I think at that time I was doing a lot of telesummits, and when you do them, sometimes you start to pick and choose after a while which ones you want to participate on. And I loved working with her. It didn't really require much practice. There was an automatic connection. There was.
You're listening to OTR-FM, part of the IOM radio network.
Hi, this is Sylvia Henderson, intuitive life coach and energy healer. Are you ready to elevate and rise way above your normal? Be sure to listen to my show, Intuitive Transformations, on OMTimes Radio, Sunday evenings at 9 p.m. Eastern. Get the inspiration you need to transform your life.
Host your show on IOM FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community. OMTimes Magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organization, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. OMTimes, co-creating a more conscious lifestyle.
Hi, this is Sylvia Henderson, intuitive life coach and energy healer. Are you ready to elevate and rise way above your normal? Be sure to listen to my show, Intuitive Transformations, on OMTimes Radio, Sunday evenings at 9 p.m. Eastern. Get the inspiration you need to transform your life.
You're listening to OTR-FM, part of the IOM radio network.
OMTimes Radio, and we're going to continue our conversation on this beautiful
We get so excited
launch.
we forgot we had to stop. We're so sorry. So what I was in the middle of saying, one of the things that I really truly loved about Shefali is that when you listen to her, you can tell the sincerity and how just genuine she is. So when she's asking questions or she talks about how she's applied something in her life, it's not just because she's going through the motion or she's interviewing someone. It's something that she really will take and listen to, do. And it's very insightful and it's very personal. And she opens that up to the whole entire world as they're listening to her. And I love that. And she asks phenomenal questions, which is one of the things we'll talk about. It's great questions. But let me tell you a little bit about Shefali if you do not know her yet. Shefali Burns had the life that everyone believed from looking on the outside was the perfect life, right? So we do that a lot. We sort of judge the book by its covers very often. We walk past a house or we see somebody or talk about their lives and we think, oh my God, they must have it so much better than we do. I mean, that's just something that people naturally do. She had a beautiful house, a good husband, wonderful children, supportive family and friends, and a good job. And so many of the people thought she had everything. But she wasn't happy. So Shefali thought the same thing for a while. And after suffering in silence for over 20 years, she realized that the entire world she had created did not align with her true joy and her happiness. It's a very tough spot to be in at that time because it's, you're with someone for 20 years. Your life is what everyone thinks is perfect. And you start to acknowledge or feel or at least say to yourself, wow, is this really, can I say that I'm not happy when everyone thinks I have everything that they want? So she finally acknowledged her life. She did not, that it didn't make her happy. She was feeling empty. She was feeling dissatisfied. And she decided then and there that she would have to change her life no matter what the cost was. Very, very courageous decision. Over the past 8 years, Shefali has left her marriage and found true love. She's left her job and is now making a difference globally. So Shefali is an author, a speaker, an intuitive healer, and a life and business coach. She's the founder and creator and host of Awaken to Happiness Now and Activate Your Abundance telesummits. Both are phenomenal, and I have been on both of them. She was also the host of Shifting with Shefali on OMTimes radio. Shefali uses her intuition and energy mastery to help her clients align with the truth of who they are as powerful beings here to experience their greatest life. She does. She sees that in everyone. She's one of the people who I get to work with who truly, steps out from this space of there's no judgment there when you're speaking to her. And it's such a gift to be able to work with someone who can remain in that space, because I have to tell you, both of us really do have those days where we go down the rabbit hole and we have to buzz each other every once in a while and pull each other up or remind each other of tools, because it happens. The difference between it happening and staying there, though, is tremendous, right? So we'll talk to you about that at another point. But she's able to transmit vibration and frequency in order to transmute energy that is not serving her clients in order for them to be in greater alignment with their soul and shine in the world. And her popular coaching program, Shine Signature, has helped thousands of people around the world truly love their lives. Shefali facilitates an unstoppable entrepreneurial mindset so that her clients can have more money, more time, and more freedom, and her clients are able to go to the next level in business and life through her transformation processes. And I love it because not only does she do that with her clients, but she lives what she teaches. And I think that one of the other things that was very important to both of us when we were doing this is to be two people who truly do what it is we tell people to do. It's not just talk and it's not just statements and it's not just, but as we're working with our clients and we're offering action plans and we're working side by side as we're coaching, we recognize the fact that not only are we creating maps and tools and skills for people, but we're also being them, because we need to model and practice the skills that we often offer. And working with someone who also does that is just a great gift in my life and my world. And so that is where we come from. Did you want to add anything else, Shefali?
Well, I was just going to say really quickly, Donna, and living with Moxie is a state of mind. It's a state of being. It's a state of attitude. And it's one of those states that, anybody can achieve or anybody can reach or anybody can tap into. It really is about unlimiting yourself, right? It's about letting go of those false beliefs that limit you from doing and being whatever it is that you desire. And sometimes, yes, we go down the rabbit hole. I mean, I'm in one today as we speak. But on a personal level, I'm going down that rabbit hole. And it's okay because I know that I'll be out of it. It's all good. But the thing is, it's like my overall sense of being is about anything is possible. So in my life, anything is possible. And for the past 8 years, I've been proving that not just to myself, but to the world with every action that I take. with every new program that I do or create, with every fiber of my being, I'm showing and modeling for my children and my community and the world what it means to live with Moxie, right? And at the core of that, what it means is doing what's right for you. What feels right for you, what feels good for you, and seeing and knowing that there are no limits. It's a matter of what are you choosing and how far are you willing to go, and are you willing to let something stop you? Or are you going to look at that and know that it's just a choice? It's like something comes into your awareness, and then it's like you get to choose. Do I want to follow that, or do I want to continue following what is right for me and what I really want for myself? And so choices, is so important for me. Every day is a choice. Every moment we are making choices. So what kind of a life do you want to live, right? And that's a choice that you were making. So are you grateful? Are you in an expanded state of being? Are you making choices that are in alignment with you, right? With the highest part of you, the highest core essence of you. And really, if you're not, why not? So, there's this famous saying, if not you, then who? If not now, then when? And I love that because we all have those that potential, right, to do and be whatever it is that we desire. It takes a lot of courage, guaranteed. Everything I did has taken courage. Everything I did, without a lot of support, I'll be honest, right? But I knew I had to do it. I knew it was part of my destiny, part of my calling, part of who I truly am inside, part of what is pulling me forward even more and more every day. Oh, I want to get a dog. Like I just said, I want to get a dog. That feeling, that energy, even, is so joyful, right? So it's like, when I go to Vienna, some of you may not know this, but I'm actually moving to Vienna in less than a month from now, right? So my whole life.
Travel. I'm so excited.
Yeah. So like everything is shifting and changing, right? And that's a choice I made because it felt expansive. It felt light. It felt good. And so I've already told my husband, I'm getting a dog when we get to Vienna. And he's like, no. It's like, oh yeah. Because it feels good to me, So yeah. That's one of the things I want you all to remember, that part of living with Moxie is choosing what's right for you, whether that's in business, whether that's in relationships, whether that's in your health and finances, and every part of your life. It's about looking at everything, being aware of it, and then saying, do I really want this? And then there are going to be some things that you cannot change, or we think we cannot change, and there are some things that are going to be much easier to change. And that's, again, comes down to choice and awareness, right?
Well, it does. And this weekend, I did a workshop on related really specifically to personal power, because what you're talking about is, you said something that's very important. You said, I knew that I needed to change, and it was really connected to something that felt like it was truly higher even than myself. Like there was a purpose there. There was a driving force there. And what often comes up when we first start, and that's what, this was like a first class of several, because I think I want to do this, and I say I'm going to do this, and I often set like a schedule. And whether we're talking about weight loss or we're talking about socializing or starting a business, there's a lot of this, a lot of what I hear on day one is I'd like to do it, and I say I'm going to do it, and then I'm not following through, or then I chicken out, or then I'm just in this funk and I don't get off the couch. And I just want to say, one of the things that you mentioned, and one of the things which is a state of mind, we really get what we tolerate. We get what we tolerate. Mm-hmm. And I don't want that to come across in a negative way, but we do honestly choose, like you said, Shefali, we honestly choose our state of being. And if we'd like to experience Moxie or joy or happiness or something outside of this funk, then when we are in a funk, we must tell ourselves that this is actually an unacceptable state of being. And what often allows us to shift out of that is by doing something physiologically different at that moment that will help us change it. Get up and go for a walk, step outside and do some deep breathing, connect with nature, do some exercise, do something you would not normally do because you have to consciously break that and choose something else and decide that you're no longer going to tolerate that state of being and practice it, because we get what we've been practicing for so long. It just becomes second nature. And when we're doing that, we might also want to choose people that we know that are living with Moxie, that are, experiencing or exhibiting the energy that we would love to be, and look at what their rate of breathing is. Look at how they sit. Are they sitting with their shoulders back or with their shoulders slouched? Are they standing when they're talking? Or are they sitting when they're talking? Because when I talk to people about modeling and personal power, I'm even talking about physically modeling the way somebody sits, talks, because there's a difference even in the physical being that shows up when somebody is showing up and living with Moxie versus in another state of being that you're searching to get out of. So I think that that's something interesting that we'll talk more about later, but you get what you tolerate. And if we decide we don't want to tolerate that anymore, we can train ourselves and create a new muscle so that we have a new level of being that becomes more normal for us. Just like when you're training for anything else.
Absolutely. And, and part of this, people don't like the word discipline, right? Or people don't like the word practice. But as you practice, as you use that muscle, it gets stronger and stronger and it becomes more flexible, And, with exercise, it's all about bringing more oxygen or air, right, into your body, into your cells, into your being, which gives you a more expanded awareness, or more ease. And so, when you're doing daily spiritual practices or daily business practices or daily, whatever it is, affirmations, mantras, whatever it could be, as long as you're doing it daily and consistently for the awareness of what's shifting and changing, not because you're forced to do something. It's about what is changing in your life when you're doing these, right? And if you're aware of them, you will notice slight changes. And then as you see these changes, you will start to recognize more and more, oh, well, this is possible. So I wonder if something else is possible, right?
Yes. And you also, one of the things that most people don't really recognize or may not know, and I know because I just do a little bit with NLP, with neuro-linguistic programming. And that's just truthfully when you connect things with a change in your physiology, you also have more of a chance of being able to lay a groundwork for that becoming a new behavior. You get to change, you can connect a new thought process with a new energy that feels good for your body, and you're more likely to maintain it that way. So if you were
absolutely, so I was just going to say, absolutely, we can talk about this some more when we come back from break. We'll be back in about 1 or 2 minutes. Hold on.
Gotta get used to that.
You're listening to OTR FM, part of the IOM radio network.
Hi everyone, this is Shay Parker, the host of Best of the Best, which airs live right here on IOM Radio every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Pacific. I'm super excited to bring you expert guest hosts, spiritual discussions, free psychic readings, and so much more. I can promise that you will not want to miss this one-of-a-kind, fun, yet touching, down-to-earth show. Join us every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Pacific on OTR FM. This is Shay Parker, and I can't wait to see you there.
Host your show on IOM FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community. As difficult as it is to believe, there are places in Africa where human traffickers sell albino children and their body parts for use in magic rituals. Humanity Healing International is actively working in Uganda to change this paradigm. The Albino Rescue Project finds albino children who are at risk and places them in safe schools and environments where they can learn and grow free from fear. To learn more or to sponsor a child, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is.
Hello, I'm Miriam Knight of New Consciousness Review, inviting you to my new show where I interview the rising stars of the conscious awakening. We'll explore the many faces of consciousness in action and intriguing perspectives on life, the universe, and everything in between. Join us each Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern on the Rising Stars Show.
You're listening to OTR FM, part of the IOM Radio Network.
Hello, everyone. We're back on Living with Moxie on OMTimes Radio. I'm your host, Shefali Burns, and my co-host, Donna Martuge. And we were going to continue talking a little bit about NLP, belief systems, and so much more. So, Donna, what were you saying before we went for break?
Well, I was talking about the importance of changing your physiology. So it's not just, there's so much connected to how you actually change something or create something. And we were starting from the beginning of the whole idea of living with Moxie and personal power and choice, right? Which was something that you had brought up. Mm-hmm. And I think that one of the things that often happens is people don't realize how much their mind actually has to do with their practice pattern. And for some people, they realize that it has so much to do with it that they actually get that you have to practice the vision. You have to practice it in your mind sometimes before you even change the actual behavior. So I was listening to an interview and somebody was talking about Roger Bannister, who was the first man to ever run a 4-minute mile. And when he ran it, he didn't necessarily even have the ability to comprehend that he could run a 4-minute mile. And he talked about the fact that he had to practice that in his mind many, many, many times before he even started physically training for it, because he needed to see himself as being able to do it. And prior to him doing it, nobody had been able to run the 4-minute mile before that. So what wound up happening is after he was able to see it and truly visualize himself doing it without the obstacles in it, but it became more natural to see himself doing it, and he felt more confident, and he began to then train his body to actually match his vision. But he created the vision first very clearly. And after he did the 4-minute mile successfully, 37 people ran a 4-minute mile within 2 years of the time that he actually created and broke that record, right? Mm-hmm. But that was because what happens is once somebody does it and people can see it being done, it becomes a lot easier to do. So sometimes if you can't imagine actually creating the change or living the way that you would love for it to be because your mind goes somewhere else, it is very important. And that's where affirmation comes in. It's not where you could just say an affirmation and your whole life will change. But the idea of actually coming up with the vision and the thoughts that you practice in your mind so your mind can literally see you being what it is you're asking for in your life before it actually even gets there is one of the amazing ways that we can make sure that we get there. Because once your mind can match it, you're going to get there. It's like laying the groundwork for it. So I just thought of that example when we were talking about the NLP and changing your physiology, and just so many other people have also talked about the fact that once I could see it, I just started taking action towards it, knowing that it would have to be. But practicing the thought can help you see it. So even that becomes a new habit, a new way of training yourself. If you catch yourself thinking about all the things you don't want, stop it right away and just spend lots of time obsessing on the things that you would love to have and the connection of joy of the having of it, while you then start to add the physiology and the practicing of it with your body. That was just one of the stories that popped into my head as we were talking.
Well, one thing I want to add to that is visualizing what you would like to create and taking those physical action steps. You have to have both. You can't just do the action steps and not visualize ahead of time. We call it dreaming. But it's also about first you have to be in that expanded state of awareness. So for me, for example, before I do anything, I meditate or I, get into that expanded state by being in gratitude. And when I'm in that higher vibration of gratitude or meditation, then I visualize. Then I start to create. That's how you close the gap. It's the energetic as well as the action-oriented steps. They both need to be done on a regular and consistent basis, believing and knowing, number one, that it's even possible for you. And I think that's where people tend to give up. They don't believe that they can have it. They don't believe that they can achieve those goals. I'll be honest, I was like that a couple of years ago. It's like, why me? Who am I to do this? Who am I to do that? Like, I'm nobody. That's what I used to think, right? Those kinds of mental thoughts, emotional thoughts I used to have, because I was very shy growing up, believe it or not. I was one of those wallflowers, I mean, I used to stutter when I was little. Not even little, probably teenager, So it was strange when I decided to do my telesummit, and I was going to be on live every day talking to, so many people. It's like, wow, how did I do that, right? And people ask me, how did you do that? Or when I left my husband and I had no support whatsoever, not one person, but I knew I had to do it. People ask, how did you do that? How did you get out of that situation? How did you create your new life? And, part of it was I got to the point where I knew I deserved it. I deserved more than what I was creating at that moment. So, and maybe we'll talk about that later in upcoming shows, but those beliefs, of deserving or not deserving, those beliefs are being good enough or not being good enough, and sometimes those beliefs hold us back.
Yes, they absolutely do. And one of the things that I learned, and I'm one of those people. I read the hundreds of books related to topics. I'm the psychologist and the geeky education person who loves to learn. When you look at the cycle, there's several different areas where we can actually, see where we can actually begin to create our lives. The first thing we look at is potential. And truthfully, for the most part, everybody can have the potential to have whatever it is they really desire to have. But the next box would be belief, right? And then there's another box that would be action, and then another box that would be results. So the truth is, if we have potential and we put that aside, if we have a belief that has anything along the lines of doubt or fear or any of those things related to belief, if everything I've always done has never worked out, or maybe I could do this, but maybe I can't, I don't believe it. The belief that you have drives your action. And so if you're sort of only halfway committed or only halfway believe, you only put half of that action in, and then you're like the salesperson who knocks on the door and goes, you don't really want this product, do you? And you're sort of that person, and then you get no results, because who's going to buy the product when you start out your sale going, well, you don't really want this, do you? And you get a very different result than the person who believes that they have completely got something that is of value, that they absolutely deserve and are worth and can have the $1 million this month that somebody else once created, because they're no different than that someone else. They're going to put in they're going to create a different result, not because they have different potential, but because their belief impacts the action that they actually wind up choosing. And those two boxes are so connected that it does really, truly influence your outcome. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And, today, Donna, on my other show, Awaken to Happiness Now, we were talking about subconscious beliefs, how subconscious beliefs are limiting us and holding us back. And sometimes a lot of people don't even know what those subconscious beliefs are, but we are ruled by our subconscious quite a bit. And so it really does come down to, number one, awareness of what's working in my life and what's not, right? Mm-hmm. And so be grateful for what's working in your life, look at that, expand on that even more. It's like, okay, what would it take to have this work even better, with more ease, with more flow? Whatever words you want to use, and then look at the areas that are not and ask yourself those questions. Okay, what would it take for this to work for me? Or number one, just knowing how you would like it to shift and change is the number one key. Instead of saying, well, I want this to change. Well, what do you want it to change to? How would you like it to be? Like, what would you like to see? What would you like to experience? Asking yourself those types of questions is going to help you to clarify possibly what is holding you back. And then, for me, I had all these wonderful beliefs, sarcastically I'm saying, and I still did it because I had the overpowering belief of, I'm going to do whatever it takes to be a success. Whatever it takes, I'm going to be a success. Whether that was doing, leaving my secure government job and being self-employed and doing my telesummits and coaching and healing, or whether it was leaving my successful on the outside marriage and going for broke. Like, I don't know anything. I don't know what I'm going to do. I was, in a rough state for a while, but it's like, I'm going to do whatever it takes. Whatever it takes, I'm going to do that. So if that meant, for the first 6 months of when I was working in the government and doing my telesummit, I was working night and day, getting maybe 5-6 hours sleep, working during the day, working at night. Mm-hmm. It's like, you got to do what you got to do.
I do. I've had business calls with you. It's like 1:00 in the morning your time, and we're in pajamas. Yes, I do know that you do anything.
And I wasn't going to give up, right? So
right.
that attitude of not giving up and doing whatever it took to be successful, and being perseverant with that, being determined with that, and knowing that, if somebody else can do it, damn it, I can do it too, right?
Yeah. But you also said something that was very important, that I heard in the beginning, and it was sort of, you were very aware that you had a why that was greater than you. So in other words, what I find is that when I can attach a client to their true why do you want this? What is it that you truly want? And it's greater than just themselves, but it's because they want to create a phenomenal life for their family, or because they want to give back to the community, or because they truly feel like they have this purpose to be the largest contribution to the most amount of people that they can in whatever way that they're connected to, whether that be in health or in whatever way, and they stay connected to that why, like they even have pictures of it, or everything that they create is connected to that topic. The why becomes an incredible driving force, because then you're also less likely to get out of the area of certainty, right? Because certainty becomes, this is where I am, I'm certain I can create this, and you stay in an area of certainty. And if you have your why right in front of you all the time, that why that's higher than you as a contribution to others, that also helps. And you had a why that you might not have been as tangible as it may be for you right now, but sort of, you felt like there was something else that you were supposed to be doing to help other people. It wasn't necessarily, in the beginning, it felt like you said, you were recognizing that you weren't happy. But at the end of that conversation, if you go back and even listen to this, or listen to another time when you discuss it, you notice that you always go to this higher sense of calling.
Yes.
That you really have no doubt exists for you. And even though there's times that you cannot define it, you are certain that there is something else you were supposed to be doing, and that was your driving force.
Absolutely. And that's sometimes we don't know what that is. And, I'll be honest, it's not always going to be those physical things. And we'll talk about that too in a few minutes when we're back from break. But it's like, sometimes it's about, for me, it starts with giving. It's like, what do you want to contribute to the world, to the planet, to humanity? Start with that. And that will, it's not about being selfish or selfless at all, but it's about, what did we come here to do? We came here to express ourselves. So we're going to talk about that a little bit more, because I love that topic. I really do. It's like
after our break.
So we'll be back in a few minutes after break, and just think about that. What do you want to do? What did you come here to experience and express?
This is OTR-FM, part of the IOM radio network.
This is Terry Van Horn, and I want to invite you to join me for my weekly radio show, Hailing Light, on OMTimes Radio, every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. On Hailing Light, we want to bring love, light, and blessings into your world. You can find out more about us at www.healinglightonline.com. Blessings.
Being a radio host on IOM FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. OMTimes Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single OMTimes endeavor. Host your show with OMTimes Radio Network. Have you ever wondered how to change your love paradigm? The secret key is finding a love partnership, not just a regular connection. How do you find these? Through conscious relationships. Ascending Hearts Dating is a dating site for people like you that believes in second chances and a different type of spiritual connection. Try Ascending Hearts for free today at ascendinghearts.com and change your love paradigm. Ascending Hearts, the premier dating community for the spiritually awake.
Join me, Maggie Chula, on Mondays at noon Eastern for Mastermind with Maggie. Let's work together in a mastermind. We can resolve life's problems and create goals for the future. Build action steps empowering you to create your life in partnership with your divine source of light, your soul. Manifesting your goals can be simple and easy, so come with your problems and leave with a plan. The Akashic Master Teachers and I are waiting to help you.
This is OTR-FM, part of the IOM Radio Network.
We are back on Living with Moxie here on OMTimes Radio. I'm your host, Shefali Burns, here with my co-host, Donna Martuge, and we're talking about all things living with Moxie. We talked about belief systems. We talked about what is Moxie and living with Moxie, and where were we before we went to break? I think where I was asking the question, what do you want to experience here? And what have you come here to express? You know, and these are the types of questions I asked myself. It's like, why am I here? What did I come here to do? What did I come here to experience? And how would I like to express myself, you know? And so that's what I encourage all of you to look within, go to your heart space and ask those types of questions. And from there, you will start to understand what you came here to do and what really fulfills you. You know, so it's not always going to be about, oh, I want a $1 million house on the beach. Unless, you know, that's really what you want. And that's fine too. But it's like, what does that bring you? Like, as an equality, right? Does it feel good? Does it feel joyful? Does it feel, are you doing that because you want to bring your family there and have that connection with family? You know, go deeper and go deeper and go deeper into those questions. Donna, what do you have to say about questions?
I think what, you know, you're going to laugh when I tell you this because it really has nothing to do with this conversation to some extent, but we had to go see Finding Dory was that, or whatever that movie is, but that we went to go see for the second time today, not the first, but the second time today. But while we were watching it today, I was laughing because the truth of the matter is, as they're going through, even in a Disney movie, and Dory, who has no memory, you know, she has short-term memory loss, as she starts to remember things, but whenever she's stuck, what I've noticed is that she goes from feeling stuck to asking a question. So what would this person do in this situation is a question that she would ask. But even when the other ones were trying to figure it out and answer, they would say, well, what would Dory do right now? And what they came up with was, it isn't always about having a plan or having an answer. It's about being willing to decide that there's never a place where you can get to where you're completely stuck. If you're completely stuck, then ask, what else can I do now? Who may know what to do now? And that's what's really also very important when I say, you know, we talk about living with Moxie. One of the things I would say is, if you truly are clear on what you want, and if you're not clear, there's things we can do to help get clear. But if you're really clear on what you want, find someone who does it really, really well and model them. Learn everything you can about how they've already done it, and you're going to model them and copy them in every way, because there's no reason to reinvent the wheel. No one has reinvented the wheel. Mm-hmm. People have take strategies that work. You don't have to struggle and try and figure it out, but ask questions, find out who does it well, and learn everything you can from that person so that you can create it with as much ease as possible, right?
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, it's funny, I do that, you know, so I have one of my teachers, you know, and so sometimes when I'm in a bind or, you know, angst or something, it's like, okay, what would so-and-so do, you know? And I tap into his energy, you know, and I tap into who he is, and like, what would he do, right? And now that's how I first started. And now it's shifted a little bit, you know. So I asked myself, okay, what would my higher self do, you know, in that situation? And I always ask questions like that of myself to get me out of my head. You know, it's not like I'm really, you know, being dependent on somebody else, but it's to get out of my head so that I can bring in new awarenesses, right?
Right. Absolutely. Bring in new awarenesses, get new information, and be more open. Because what very often happens is the one decision you want to be able to make is, I'm going to be successful at this. Mm-hmm. You don't have to necessarily know how, but you're going to be successful. And that's one that you're not going to bend on, because you want to make the commitment to the success of whatever your target's going to be. But after that, it's sort of, okay, well, where do I have to go to get there? Who do I need to know to get there? Who do I want to have in my life in order to help me? Who's my network? What do I have available to me? There's lots of questions that you can ask in order to get you there. And one of the things I want to make sure I say to everybody as you're listening to this, if you haven't done so already, please, 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 for next week, you could always send us questions that you might have for us on one of our shows. And if we're doing something related to that topic, we'll get to it, or questions or information about topics that you would love to hear. But you can find us on Facebook at Living with Moxie, and you can find us on Twitter it's literally at Living with Moxie. Shefali and I both answer those messages generally within 24 hours, and we'd love to be able to have questions for our shows and have you participate. And in a few weeks, actually, we're going to be able to have the ability, I believe, to have live questions and answers here on the radio show. So I'm so very excited for that coming up once we're able to do that. But in the meantime, like us on Facebook, communicate with us on Twitter. We love talking to you guys all the time and being able to answer questions or find people who can answer your questions for you, and just connect with all of you and see what contribution we can be to each other. But I sort of got off topic there, Shefali. I'm so sorry.
No, and that's perfect, because it is all about it's all about engagement, right? It's all about conversation, and for me, that is the biggest thing. That communication. It's a two-way street, right? So sometimes we will learn from you, and other times you will learn from us, or we will just learn from each other, right? But we can only do that when we are engaging with each other, when we have that relationship with each other, when we're in conversation with each other. And so definitely, go to Facebook, Living with Moxie, or on Twitter, Living with Moxie. And it's exciting because it gets us out of our own head, out of our own limited knowing sometimes, right? And so when we're saying, ask questions, and we're not saying ask questions and find the answer from your own head. We're saying ask questions and be open to answers that will come to you, right? And they may come to you from us. They may come to you from other people. They may come to you from other guests on OMTimes Radio or other shows on OMTimes Radio, right? So be open to receiving information from wherever it comes. But first you have to be willing to ask the questions and be open to receiving those answers, right? And so that means saying, okay, I don't know, but this is my question. Where's this information going to come from, right? And it's okay to say, I don't know. But when you say I don't know, say it from the sense of, or feeling of empowerment. You don't know yet on the surface, but deep down inside, we always know. Sometimes we just lack those little strategies, those little tools, those little resources, but you will know when it's right for you. So I wanted to definitely make sure we gave you some tools today, some resources to help you until next week. And so, one of those things is to start asking that question. What would it be like for you to live with Moxie, right? You can ask that question, say, okay, what does living with Moxie look like for me? And you can also ask yourself, all right, well, Shefali and Donna, they're really talking about living with Moxie, doing what you really desire, being expanded in such a way. Well, what does that mean for me? How does that look like for me? What do I really want to do? If I had no limits, nothing holding me back, no excuses, I love that word. What would I really, really, truly love to do? Think about that and start writing it down. And then, at the beginning of the show, Donna talked about what are you tolerating, right? So I remember doing this exercise last year, at some point, and I did it actually on my show, Shifting with Shefali, when I was on OMTimes Radio, and we talked about that. What are you tolerating? And it's such an interesting exercise because it really shows you where you're putting your energy. You're putting your energy in areas that are not working for you, but you're still tolerating them. So what would you rather do instead? So, you can start off by, I always, my number one tool, I've said it so many times, is gratitude. Be grateful for something every day in your life and feel that expanded state. And from that state, say, okay, this is what more I would like. So what more can you add to your life now? Start asking that question. What more can you add to your life that would bring you joy, success, fulfillment?
But also, it's important. So it's important to notice too. I mean, for those who have reached out, because I do have people who reach out who are depressed, who feel like they've been stuck, who have this sadness or this emotion doesn't feel like, I mean, some of you even said, I'm not even sure I know what that feels like. I can tell you that when you focus on what you can appreciate in your life, appreciation and depression do not fit in the same energetic circle. So the more you're willing to focus and list and focus on everything you appreciate, and the more, like if you're sitting there thinking about the fact that you appreciate that you have this place to sleep tonight, or that you have this person who you love in your life that you can always count on, you can't be in that appreciation and in sadness, depression, or beating yourself up at the same time. So that is one of the gifts of choosing appreciation, is you can't have the other energies that are the opposite of it at the same time.
Absolutely.
Does that make sense?
Oh, yes, absolutely. And that is so powerful. And that will help to get you moving into this more energetic, expanded state of living with Moxie.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So we're going to be doing this every week, and what we'll be having for you guys is a whole bunch of guests that we'll be interviewing over time, and sometimes it'll be Shefali and I, and a lot of times it's going to be authors, teachers, and people who are well-known in the field that we're going to have here to offer you some really brilliant information that can help you expand your business, choose more success, get your book published, whatever the information and the key topics are that people are asking for, with real skills and information for you and available to you so that you can choose to live with Moxie.
Absolutely. So until then, please do go to Living with Moxie on Facebook and like that page and be part of that community, as well as on Twitter. And we will be posting more information for you there about next week's show and the weeks coming up. So we're so excited because it's going to bring about so much change for you as well as for us, right? So I just wanted to thank you all so much for being here with us today as we launch our new show here on OMTimes Radio. And we so look forward to many more shows with you in the future, and especially when you will be able to call in and ask questions. So that is going to be a lot of fun for everyone.
So until then, we appreciate you, and live with Moxie, everybody. Choose it every second that you can. Reach for it. Think about it. Dream about it. Get clear on it. We look forward to next time.
Bye for now, everyone. Thank you.